Massive changes in the world mean today's leaders are facing challenges they couldn't even imagine just a few years ago. Social connectedness and mobility are becoming central aspects of every leader's job. Some historians and other scholars believe our world is undergoing a transformation more profound and far-reaching than any experience since the dawn of modern age and the Industrial Revolution more than 500 years ago. This transformation requires a transition from a traditional to a new leadership paradigm. A paradigm is a shared mindset that represents a fundamental way of thinking about perceiving and understanding the world. Although many leaders are still operating from the old paradigm mindset, they are increasingly ineffective. Successful leaders will respond to the new reality. Today's world is in a constant motion and nothing seems certain anymore. If leaders still had an illusion of stability at the dawn of the 21st century, it is surely shattered by now. Consider the following events. A powerful earthquake in Japan in 2011 triggered massive tsunami waves that damaged the nuclear reactors at the Fukushima power plant and led to the shutdown of numerous companies, creating supply chain disruptions for manufacturers around the world. The Arab Spring, a revolutionary wave of protests in the Arab world that began in late 2010, has created a tumultuous environment for business operating in a region, as well as heightened uncertainty and instability for companies around the world. In the European Union, Spain, Ireland, and particularly Greece have all had trouble paying their debts, leading to a possible breakup of the euro system. Meanwhile, the United States has faced its own debt crisis, and the fallout from the meltdown in the mortgage and housing industry has continued. Most leaders, whether in business, politics, the military, education, or social services, recognize that trying to maintain stability in a world of such unexpected and far-reaching change is a losing battle. Today's best leaders accept the inevitability of change and crisis and tap into them as potential sources of energy and self-renewal. Adaptability is a watchword of the day. Leaders in powerful positions once believed strict control was needed for the organization to function effectively and efficiently. Rigid organizational hierarchies, structured jobs and work processes, and detailed invalid procedures let everyone know that those at the top had power and that those at the bottom had none. Today, the old assumptions about the disruption of power are no longer valid. Rather than being a controller, the leader is a facilitator who helps people do and be their best by removing obstacles to performance, getting people back what they need, and providing learning opportunities and offering support and feedback. One reason for this is the financial basis of today's economy is becoming information rather than the tangible assets of land, buildings, and machines. This means human capital is becoming more important than financial capital, which increases the power of employees. One of the leaders' most challenging jobs is to enable employees to embrace and use their power effectively. From competitor to collaborator. In a hyper-connected, networked age, collaboration becomes more important than competition. Successful leaders harness and make the most ideas, talent, and resources from across boundaries of all kinds. Although some companies still encourage internal competition and aggressiveness, most successful leaders stress teamwork, compromise, and cooperation. Self-directed teams and other forms of horizontal collaboration spread knowledge and information throughout the organization. Effective leaders also work collaboratively with suppliers, customers, governments, universities, and other organizations. There is a growing trend within companies to think of themselves as teams that create value jointly rather than as autonomous entities in competition with one another. Collaboration presents greater leadership challenges. Leaders first have to develop their own collaborative mindset and then create an environment of teamwork and community that fosters collaboration and mutual support. From diversity avoider to diversity promoter. Many of today's organizations were built on assumptions of uniformity, separation, and specialization. People who think alike, act alike, and have similar job skills that are grouped into a department, such as an accounting or manufacturing, separate from other departments. Homogeneous groups find it easy to get along, communicate, and understand one another. However, the uniform thinking that arises can be a disaster in a world becoming more multinational and diverse. Bringing diversity into the organization is the way to attract the best human talent and develop an organizational mindset broad enough to thrive in a multinational world. From hero to humble. Another shift is the move from celebrating the leader as hero to recognizing the hard-working, behind-the-scenes leader who quietly builds a strong, enduring company by supporting and developing others rather than touting his or her own abilities and successes. One reason for the shift from hero to humble is that it is less and less realistic for an individual leader to meet all of the challenges a team or organization faces in a complex and rapidly changing world. Another is that ambitious, highly self-confident, charismatic leaders have been at the forefront of some of the ethical scandals and business failures of recent years. If you look on your site under Chapter 1, you will see Should Leaders Live by the Cowboy Code? If you check that out, I would be curious to know if you think leaders should live by the Cowboy Code. Leaders are characterized by an almost complete lack of ego, coupled with a fierce resolve to do what is best for the organization. They accept full responsibility for mistakes, poor results, or failures, but they typically give credit for successes to other people.